gentlemen, welcome to Season 2, Episode 2 of a Little Night podcast. Tonight we have a battle of two Sondheim titans, duking it out over a number of aspects of Sondheim's work. That's right, tonight we have Jack of no trades, master of Sondheim. I'll be asking our two contestants for their opinions, and they'll have a minute or so to present their argument before I decide the winner. That's right, there's no due process here. I'm both the witch posing the challenges and Judge Turpin awarding the crown and the execution. Our contestants. Truly two juggernauts of Sondheim knowledge. We have Tim Jasper, founder and treasurer of the Northeast Stephen Sondheim Theatre and presenter of our Patreon exclusive series NESST Dissects.
Hello.
Versus a man so full of knowledge that they had to name the very buildings of the education system after him. NEST's resident sage of the sage, Kate said. Matthew Colledge.
Hi there. Oh my god. I just went through like a voice change there. I think I just went through puberty.
Ladies and gentlemen, let's get ready to Sondheim!
Ding, ding, ding.
The crowd goes wild.
Do you like that?
I love that. Love it. I've never been like described in that way before. I thought that was so like on point and off the cuff. I love it.
Most prominent of all, we managed to get through the entire intro without me relocating either of you thousands of miles to Thailand. Which was
True.
a bit of a personal win. How are you both? Matthew, how are you doing?
I'm good. It's been a while since we've done this lovely podcast. And I love doing it. Yeah, I love doing it the other times before, and can't wait to start this little battle.
Little battle. This is Titans versus.
I know. This is what am I saying? This is the juggernauts. Like
it's bigger than Luke versus Vader. Did they fight? I'm sure they fought at one point.
Love it.
Tim, how are you doing this evening?
I'm doing it really well, thank you. I've been listening to season 1 and really enjoying it, and listening to it over and over. So I'm excited to start season 2.
Fantastic. Okay, So we're going to start off with a coin toss to decide which of the two contestants go first. Matthew, if you'd like to call it.
Tails.
Okay, it's heads. So Tim, you go first.
Okie dokie.
So the format is that I'm going to present a number of rounds. We're going to go through them one by one, and Matthew and Tim present their arguments, and then I select, as I said before, the best argument. It's not necessarily which one I agree with the most, it's just the best argument in the moment, or the most interesting thing, or just something that piques my interest. I'll award them 1 point per round, apart from one round where we get bonus points. But I'll address that when we get to it. Ooh. I know. Nom nom nom. So the first round, Tim.
Yes.
What would you say is the best Sondheim musical?
Right. So the question is, I've got two. One's lyrics and one's music and lyrics. If we go music and lyrics, which I feel we probably should, it would be Into the Woods for me, because as a piece, it unifies these well-known stories. Bearing in mind he's American and these are all European folk tales. He brings these famous stories together, makes a new folk tale within that seamlessly. You don't even know the Baker and Baker's wife aren't a real story. The story is just perfect. The arc is great. All characters have their own arc. The music is linked throughout the show with the motif, with patterns of 3, with themes of education, teaching children. It's just got everything you could want. It's got comedy. It's got a bit of heart-wrench, a bit of terror towards the end with the giant. Everything about that show is perfect to me. The other one, if you want it just quickly, is West Side Story, but that's a different tangent. But I'm going with pure Sondheim, no Bernstein. So I'm going to go Into the Woods for the overall.
Great. Handing it straight over, Matthew. Go for it.
I'm not going to repeat myself by saying Sweeney Todd again, because I did that with Albertus. But if I had to pick another one, I would probably say Merrily We Roll Along. which doesn't often get played much, but I feel like it's one of the few Sondheim musicals where, like, I think just like Into the Woods, it has that sort of life lesson, that cautionary tale aspect to it, and but it's done in such a unique way where it's told in reverse chronological order, and I think the only sort of thing the show's known for is that Not a Day Goes By, which is sung famously by Bernadette Peters, and obviously that version is amazing. But I feel like not many people have seen the show, and it's one of those shows that not many people think of when they think of Sondheim. Obviously, they think of Sweeney Todd, Into the Woods, Company, and all that. But I feel like those. I think it's important to watch because it also, as a young person in the arts, it is a cautionary tale, and you don't want to like sort of lose face with the people you've known, especially with friendship and everything, and it's just how you see them at the end of their rope, and you as an audience member be thinking, oh God, what happened? And then the musical perfectly segues into each scene. It's like sort of like Company, as it's a moment in time.
So it resonated more with you on a personal level. It's kind of a little underrated gem sort of thing. So okay,
yeah, it just doesn't get enough credit. Yeah. Anyway,
I like it, and that's the point of the Northeast Stephen Sondheim Theatre. We bring attention to these things, and that's why we staged it last year.
Yeah, exactly.
I didn't realise that The Baker was not a fairy tale. I thought that it was I thought it was dragged from something else. So I found that a very interesting little nugget.
The Baker. What The Baker's inclusion is, it's to represent the audience, the ordinary man, so that the audience can connect with someone in the show. So I love that. It brings the audience in. That's the point of that.
Just for that little nugget, I like that. That's I'm going to award that first round to Tim.
Get it,
Don.
I'll be getting my own Sexual Players Award soon.
Handing it over. So, Matthew, you're going first this time.
Yeah.
The most underrated musical. The floor is yours.
Okay. This show never gets talked about, and it's so upsetting. And that is Assassins. I feel like it's one of those shows where it's like Into the Woods, where it has all those obviously it has those famous people, like John Wilkes Booth, John Hinckley Jr., like all these people who have infamously, tried to or succeedingly assassinated a president. And I think what I love about it is that it's in terms of style, it is Sondheim, but it's sort of, you listen to some of the songs and you think, that's Sondheim? Because like when I first heard Unworthy of Your Love, I didn't know it was, I was like, wait, Sondheim wrote this? Like, because it draws from like so many different areas of American music, from like 100 years of worth of that. And I think just the way it's done is just really excellent. And I think more people should listen to it. And it, it's not long. It's only one act. And, you should definitely give it a listen if you haven't, people at home. Anyway.
Great stuff.
I'm going to go with
straight over, Tim. Go for it.
I'm going to go with a show that we saw. I think it was 2 years ago, David, but maybe it was more than that or less than that. But Follies, because I think it doesn't get enough recognition. It's obviously got the famous tunes like "Losing My Mind," which is in one of the dissects. If you tune into that, but also there's just so many like themes in it that I think are really appropriate nowadays. Most particularly, it's all about that gone age of you could say theatre of an age that's gone, which is why it works so well with an old and the young cast. It's a gone age, like it's not the same anymore now. Whatever they try and scrape back, and it's very appropriate now with like the lack of theatre. New theatre when it comes back will be different, so it would resonate really well right now. And I love all this. There's some hidden gems in that show as well. The one that we did a cover of in our inspiration series, which was "Isn't He Something?" That's a song that was originally in Follies, and it's one of my favourite Sondheim songs, and it's never ever performed really. So there's a lot of hidden gems in the show, but I think because it is for an older cast as well as a younger cast, it doesn't maybe get as much recognition as it should do. There you go. There's my piece.
That's a tricky one.
Yeah. I would love to see like a modern production of Follies, like set now, but instead it's just like Zoom calls. That'd be great. I would love that. Anyway.
Yeah, sort of the student halls opposite the Italian Theatre Opera House, maybe. Just looking out at the old dilapidated theatre.
Yeah.
I'm going to have to come back to that. I can't determine between. I know I'm an indecisive judge. I would never make a lawyer.
So everyone that's following the scores, that's it. They're waiting to end now. Wait till the end and find out.
Okay, round number 3, the best Sondheim song. Tim.
Right. So I'm sticking with my same show as the best musical, which is the opening of Into the Woods. It's 15 minutes. It sets up every character in the show, again with that unified theme, but all in their own way. So like the Baker's got his theme of this plodding along 4/4 theme. The Jack's Mother's got this 3/4 same marching theme, but obviously in 3. So it's similar. There's obviously a link, but it's different enough. And it's just 15 minutes of. It probably is the best opening like song, I'd say. But the best, I think that's probably the best song. It's the most well known. It's iconic. The first 2 chords. It starts off with like the 4 most important words in all storytelling, which is what theatre is all about. Once upon a time, and we get that. It's just you know exactly what's going to happen. It's just perfect. So there's my best song choice for today.
Lovely, Matthew.
I'm going to pick My Friends from Sweeney Todd because I think it's just a perfect sort of dissection of a man who's obviously been through so much. And this song, like it, in the essence, it's somewhat of a love song, but it's like, it's from the perspective of a madman, and he's sort of, it's the only thing that he can connect to his old life, and you kind of feel sorry for him, but then you're like, oh wait, he's like, he's sort of going a little bit mad, and losing his marbles and everything. And what I love about that song is that with Mrs. Lovett in play, she thinks she's the one that he's falling for, but it's not. But he's completely focused. He's in some sort of a trance, and because he's so obsessed with his life and with his past life, and the fact that it's been taken away from him, and he's just hell bent on obviously taking Judge Turpin down, because he was the whole point of why his life just went in a completely different direction, and why he became his alter ego when he comes back to London.
I like that. I never thought of that song as a love song, but now that you mention it, I totally see it.
Yeah.
I like that. Because that's as close to love as Sweeney is ever going to get.
Yeah, exactly. Because he's lost his wife. He's lost his daughter's in the care of Judge Turpin, and I think it's just the only thing he can latch onto. And obviously, that's when he just becomes obsessed, and he just falls into this sense of security. Because he feels at home. And it's the part of the show where it feels most wholesome, even though it's like, oh God, he's talking to a bunch of razors. This is, he's a bit, but part of me's, but when I listen to it, part of me's like, it's like frighteningly beautiful in a way. It's and it's soft and gentle, and I just love it. And it was the first Sondheim song that I really connected to in terms of lyrics, and I actually paid attention and was just like, oh my God, and Sondheim says there's like a whisper quality to it, because he's being gentle and firm with it. And it's like, my God, there's so much to dissect from the song. That's why I love it so much.
I think you're right there, Matthew, because it's like that classic Rodgers and Hammerstein song, love song, all they see each other. It's the West Side Story ballroom where everyone else is out of focus. It's just those two. Yeah. And so Mrs. Lovett's trying to interject and trying to be like, oh, I'm your friend too. And he doesn't see that. He just sees the razors. He's so right.
He's literally just so concentrated and on his revenge, and he's like, oh my God, my friend, we're back together, we're a team again, and I haven't seen you in so long, and it's just like, oh, you know. And it's,
Matthew, you won the point like 2 minutes ago.
Sorry, I'm that's why
I did detect Tim trying to nick the point back. I know a little thingy about your thing.
I just wanted to throw my piece.
I like it. Anyway. The gloves are off.
Yeah, honestly, I could talk about that song for an hour, but I won't. But
I appreciate that. Thank you.
Yeah. Anyway,
maybe one for guest appearance on Dissect. Maybe. Moving swiftly onwards. We have the best lyric.
Oh my. Sorry, I forgot it was me first.
That's okay, Matthew. So did I.
I was like,
I didn't.
My favorite lyric is, I think when I did the show, I'm talking about, it's a lyric from Into the Woods. And when I heard it, like, I don't think it hit me as much until I actually performed it on stage or like, and heard that my character doesn't sing it, but it's sometimes people leave you halfway through the wood. Others may deceive you. You decide what's good. You decide alone, but no one is alone. And I think that whole line is just, it's just in that one line. It's like a important lesson on life. And sometimes people do fall out. And people deep down are terrible people, but there are some people who like will always be there for you. And you have to make that moral choices yourself. You have to come to your own decision. You can't let people or society sway you into thinking a certain way, and you have to basically form your own moral compass. But also I'm letting you know that you're not in this by yourself. We're all in this together as a High School Musical, let's say.
Very wholesome. I like that. Very. It's
wholesome. Trying to be very profound, but then I just ruined it with High School Musical. Anyway.
And Tim, sending it straight over.
So I was going to do one of my favourite Sunday in the Park quotes, which is anything you do, let it come from you, then it will be new, which I resonate personally. But then I thought, Sondheim is renowned for his lyrics. And for me, the best Sondheim lyric has to be Again Into the Woods, which is Jack's mother singing, while her withers with her.
Oh, yeah.
And for me, it's a perfect 3 words, four words. The 4 words get smaller in size. Withers is 7 letters, wither is 6, with is 4, her is 3. So it just matches exactly what he's singing. Also, it's repeated 3 times, the wither sound, and the whole rule of 3 motif happens throughout the show. So in one bar, he's made hilarious. It's hilarious. People wait for that line because it's so iconic. It's so Sondheim. He's just doing a little flourish, showing that you can just drop it in there.
Yeah. Layers upon layers.
I think for me, lyrical skills.
It has to be that moment for me. That's the ultimate Sondheim flex.
Yeah. It's just like boom.
I think I'm going to agree with you. And also award you the point because that's I had heard of that lyric before. I've heard of the lyric, but I've heard of the reasons why that's the most popular one. But I didn't realize that the words wither as well.
Yeah,
and get shorter. That's
I love that. It's like it's just a perfect like group of words because it's. While a withering with her, and it's like because I think Sondheim always talks about like how when you rhyme something audibly but not like when you read the words out like kernel and journal, I think the audience like I think it's more rewarding as a listener because you're like oh that's so like of course like that's like how did he come up with that and it sounds effortless but
it's genius.
It takes a lot of effort, but like anyway, I love that lyric. Yeah, so I can't disagree with that.
Very good. Okay, so now we have round 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. So rounds 5 and 6, I'm going to ask for your protagonists for round 5 and antagonists for round 6. However, within that, we're going to have a little mini contest. I've asked you both ahead of time to choose which of your either protagonist or antagonist is your best overall character. So it's going to be a little bit of mental gymnastics for me, trying to keep one argument in mind while you're arguing the other thing. But we'll get through it, guys. We're going to do this.
We're together.
So nervous.
So Tim, first of all, which one have you selected as your best overall character, your protagonist or antagonist?
I have selected my antagonist.
Lovely. And Matthew, same question.
I've picked. Well, he's the protagonist and the antagonist at the same time, but it's just the.
Mine is also protagonist at the same time as antagonist.
Don't tell me we got the same.
Maybe the same. That would be very interesting if we got the same character in
different perspectives,
both categories, but it's the same argument. Okay.
Anyway,
let's swiftly onwards. Anyway. Tim, your best protagonist.
So my best protagonist, I've gone with like a slightly edgy version of the witch, because everyone sees her as an evil character, but for me, as we've discussed before, she's the only honest character in the whole show. Everyone else lies and gets what they want to get what they want, to get the means to the ends. She's the only one that's honest and tells everything as it is. So for me, as a protagonist, she's like that, like in the background, being true, but also like at the same time, you can see her as a bad person. But I don't think she is bad. I think she's misunderstood. But for me, she's the only good character in the show because she's honest and she does in the end, give them a solution to help their situation out. So that makes her a good girl to me.
That's an interesting choice. So advantage Tim with that one, I'm afraid.
Oh,
Matthew, straight over to you, mate. What do you got?
Well, I picked Sweeney Todd as my favorite character because that whole show is just completely centered around like it. I mean, obviously there are multiple characters, but it's people in Sweeney's life, whether they be family or enemies and things like that. And that whole musical, sound-wise, is just, it's constantly reminding the audience that this is like, most of it is in sort of Sweeney's head, and I think in collaboration with Mrs. Lovett, obviously they become this like, terrifying team of people. The fact that they come up with this idea of like, oh, let's, obviously I'll kill my customers and then you can put them in your pies, and just that concept alone is terrifying because when you see the God That's Good scene, it makes your stomach churn because you're just like, oh, the fact that Sweeney could come up with something like that, something scarily genius as like making a chair that has a slide and goes down to the oven and everything, and I think as a character he has like the best Sondheim song, like just objectively, which is Epiphany, and he just goes through all the motions through that, and you totally because before Sweeney Todd was portrayed as as this evil bad guy, the stereotypical villain, but I feel like Sondheim humanized him and made him sort of a tragic hero in a sense of his own story, and and it's the whole point of it is it's how revenge eats itself up, and I think you go through that whole arc with him because he does reunite with Lucy, but not in the way you expect, and unfortunately in tragic circumstance. But by the end of it, he's like content, and he just doesn't care. He's with his wife, and and it's tragically beautiful. That's what his character is. He's a tragically beautiful character.
Yeah, I entirely agree. And
I shook you there, didn't I? Speechless.
For me, no. That harks back to the the genius of Sondheim, the being able to take an evil character and make him sympathetic.
Yeah,
that to me is the heart of a good character, of a genius character. We had this. I can't remember in the first episode, last week, we had this discussion about George, and
yes.
It's for me, that resonates most with me, that answer, I'm afraid, Tim. So I'm going to award that point. I think.
All right.
I was considering picking George, but because like he in himself is like it's that kind of similar thing where he's obviously Sweeney's more like obviously operatic and passionate, and he's more full out. But like I feel like George is kind of like the opposite. He's obviously dedicated to his art and everything, and but he's also he's very cold. And anyway,
I'm bringing it back. I'm bringing it back with antagonists.
I know. I just love them antagonists. They're the most interesting characters most of the time.
Well, get round to it, Matthew, because you're leading the charge on this one.
Oh, great.
Matthew, best antagonist.
Oh, God. I'm probably going to say the witch, because she just tells it as it is. she's like the only one who has the truth, and like I feel like most of the characters in Into the Woods, or mostly all of them, like they're in their own fantasy, and which is kind of fitting, because it's obviously fairy tales and everything, but they have this like sort of, because we're led to believe in fairy tales that everything's going to be all right, everything will have a happy ever after. And obviously Into the Woods explores after that fact, where their actions have consequences. And she's just like, well, I told you so, like, I just love how truthful she is. And she's, obviously the truth can hurt, and she's just not afraid to like sort of twist the knife, into the characters, especially during, when they're arguing in the song Your Fault. And she just full on is just like, right, I've had enough. You're all complaining about this, wishes and all that nonsense. I'm just going to tell it how it is. It's matter of fact. You're not good. You're not bad. You're just nice. And that's what I like about her. Like she's again, she's not the stereotypical villain as Sondheim is very good at.
Well, I mean, this is a fascinating turn of events because Tim has the protagonist. So, I mean, that to me is absolutely fascinating, and it indicates that either you're both geniuses or you don't have a clue what you're on about.
Probably the latter, to be honest.
I'm going with the former. I'm 100% confident of going with the former. Great argument for very much the same reasons as well, obviously. So. Interesting turn of events. Tim, best antagonist.
So I'm going to go, again, controversial. I'm going to go Bobby from Company.
What?
Because, right, Bobby wants to obviously be in a relationship and have love in his life. But he does, or she, but I'll say he for now because it's the original. But he doesn't really help himself. For example, it goes the first song, the first couple with the brownies and the alcohol, and there are a couple that basically don't talk to each other. So the problem obviously isn't that like they're eating brownies or sneaking alcohol behind each other's back. The problem is they don't talk to each other. They're keeping secrets and like all these lessons that he should be picking up along the way. He doesn't pick up. He's not helping himself. So therefore he's his own worst enemy because he's not picking up the lessons which will help him hopefully achieve what he wants to achieve. So that's my only reason really, is that he's basically very narrow-minded, knows what he thinks love is, and won't be open to himself to allow him to achieve happiness.
Love it.
This is a lot more difficult than I was expecting, guys.
I know. Oops.
Because on the one hand, I awarded best protagonist to Matthew.
Which normally wouldn't be like the protagonist because he's obviously he's technically the villain, but
true. And but Tim put the witch forward for protagonist. So if I award Tim the points for that one, there's some sort of cross wires here. But
I know.
Okay. I've got to deal with. I feel like I'm playing 4D chess. Basically.
It sounds like a you problem, not a me problem, David.
Okay.
If it helps, Bobby sings being alive, so
Yeah.
Usually win for that.
Oh my God.
Is this supposed to be new info
to me?
To me?
That's me scrapping for points here.
I didn't find that entirely too convincing, Tim.
I'm sorry.
I don't know. That's Bobby is an antagonist.
I'm trying to be controversial.
No. I thoroughly appreciate that. I feel like your argument for the witch was great. Argument for Bobby not quite there. I didn't find it quite as convincing as Matthew's for the witch. So
sad.
I'm going to, I think that I agree more with the fact that the witch is an antagonist. Potentially. I don't know. I've got very confused feelings about all this, to be honest. I'm kind of regretting my decisions.
Not gonna lie, when I started talking about Bobby, I was like, hang on, I'm definitely not going to get the point. So I'm just trying to put a good brave face on it at the minute.
Yeah.
No, fair play.
Okay, so I think I'm awarding Matthew the point for that one as well.
I'll tell you what, you can have the point for that one, and I can have the point for question 2, underrated musical.
Well,
keep it tight.
I'll agree with that one, actually, to be fair. I saw Follies live. I haven't seen Assassins live. And on that trip, you were filling my head with all kinds of tidbits of information about Follies. So I'm sure that settles okay with me. However, by default, also Matthew gets the bonus points for the best overall character.
How many bonus points were there?
That's two. That's double points.
Double points. Oh my goodness!
Which means that it's Matthew 5, Tim 3.
Oh, all right, so it's still close. I can still come back.
Still close.
Yeah, you can still top me. Yeah,
we probably have room for 2 more rounds. In fact, so let's get straight to it. This one's a bit of a curveball. The best inanimate object, Matthew.
Sweeney's razors, because I don't know, like they just look so cool, and like I think it's like the best stage prop I've ever seen, and like, and I don't know, I mean obviously the main reason I was drawn to Sweeney Todd was just like the concept of the musical, like, you know, it's about like a barber who kills his customers, and obviously, you know, and then his partner in crime, Mrs. Lovett, you know, bakes him into meat pies, and when I heard that I was like, what the, like, that is so like terrifying, but like sounds kind of cool as well. And you know, and I think when I saw the movie, I was just like, I think they just look so cool. You know, when Sweeney's like, you know, doing his thing, you know, being a mass murderer. But anyway, yeah, they're just cool.
Okay, Matthew, going for the self-evidential argument there, I think.
Yeah, I know. I just couldn't think of a reason. It's just they looked awesome, and nothing to say.
I mean, they may look awesome, but when they go wrong, as in Australia, and they kill the actor on stage, that's not a great thing to have on stage.
I meant in the dramatic context, not in real life, you know. Anyway.
Well, my choice for inanimate object would be the beans. I'm sticking with Into the Woods today. I've got a woods vibe, because at least the worst they can do is take out the MD's eye when you chuck them on the floor. Like, they're not going to kill anyone, right? Yeah, but they're so crucial to the show. It's got its own theme, which is the bean theme, which is in every song as well. So they're clearly important, and they're the only thing that drive the plot along by making the baker get hold of them, by getting them to be chucked into the ground by Cinderella. The beanstalk, like, everything revolves around these beans. I think they're so central to the show that you've got to make it really, when you direct the show, when you put on the show, it's got to be so clear where the beans are and what's going on with the beans. Like, it's just as much about the beans as it is about everyone else.
Interesting. Yeah, I feel that was a more reasoned argument. The fact that
mine was. I wasn't going to bring this one. I just couldn't think of it. I just wanted to say my piece and say, you know, they just look cool.
You can make a lovely chili con carne out of the beans as well.
Yeah, I mean, oh my god,
for a little bit of magic.
Yeah.
Okay, so yeah, I think that's going to Tim. You know, the fact that they've got their own.
I couldn't really think of any other great inanimate object other than like Sweeney's razors.
What about Spot the dog?
What Milky White's corpse?
I mean,
Sorry.
Oh my god. I mean, yeah, because Spot the dog doesn't get any count. I mean, he is a cardboard cutout on stage, but but you know, if it was a film version, you know, it would be an actual dog.
David, do you remember when we sat in your house for ages with the little paper mache balls, sticking all these things on the dogs and the tree?
Oh my god!
Do I ever?
Hours we spent doing that.
2 weeks for me. That was every evening.
Oh my god!
was only one day for me.
Dedication, man. Dedicated to the show.
Okay, so we have the final round here, guys. And I did have plans, but I think I'm going to pick my favorite category of all.
Oh no!
The best Sondheim moment.
Oh, okay.
Matthew.
My favorite is just at the end of My Friends when he says, "At last, my arm is complete again," and I think it's just such a great moment because it's the moment when Sweeney becomes whole again, but in a completely, obviously he's like himself, but he isn't, because he's obviously this alter ego, Sweeney Todd, and that's when he's fully like committed to this, like, I'm going to kill the judge, and I don't care what it takes. I'm going to do it. And like, I've been connected with a long lost friend again. And, and he feels just, whole again. And it's like, yeah, it's sort of a double meaning. It's like he's become himself again, but he's become his own worst enemy as well. And obviously he becomes like this horrible person. But anyway, that's my favorite moment.
So yeah, actually that's an interesting point. So the last time that he saw those razors was when he was Benjamin Barker.
Yeah.
So
exactly.
When he's saying "at last I am complete again."
Yeah, again. Yeah.
He actually wasn't Sweeney when he actually first saw the razors. Interesting.
Oh yeah, yeah, of course.
And Tim. This is yours. You're playing for the draw here. Matthew's got it in his grasp.
Right. Well, I'm going to go for the Act 1 finale of Sunday in the Park with George for many reasons. The first one is, so Sunday in the Park with George was originally a one-act show, and that was the finale. Act 2 was then written later, so it feels like a natural climax to a show anyway. And so the rest of the show, it's written in an impressionist romantic style, but there's a lot of dissonance throughout the show. You've got even the first song, which Dot sings, it's not overly melodic. You've got songs like No Life, which again is quite not atonal, but like has atonal references to symbolize like maybe that the art isn't what they want it to be. So it's having that clash. It's trying to make you feel like it's not right, it's not good. We go on through the act, there's a couple of tunes, but a lot of it is this kind of sparse, repetitive, impressionist music. Then just before the Act 1 finale, we get the chaos music where everyone sings, overlaps, and it is the culmination of all the music from the show, building, and then we get to that famous the chord, and then the G major lands. I'm going to play it. And you just feel like, oh my God, like everything's right. Everything's at peace, everything's balanced, and like it's the whole arc of the show has been leading to that moment, and we see the whole painting come to life on stage. The music swells. It's it's less impressionistic. It's more melodic. It is just perfect. It is the perfect end to a show / an act, and I mean the fact that it's in the show twice shows how good it is. So that for me, and especially sentimentally as well. The first time for the opening night of Sunday in the Park, when we got to that song, the first one, like I was in tears. I was loving it. Like it was just perfection. So that's always going to be my favorite Sondheim moment.
Yeah, you got me back.
Hit you in the feels.
Yeah. To be honest, I nearly said that as well. I was thinking of like Act 1 of Sunday in the Park, like the ending. I was like. It was a close tie for me, but like I just wanted to go with a simple phrase, like in a show and like a turning point, in a sense.
You know what, Matthew? You didn't say it, so David chooses it. It's my point.
No. But like I was thinking about it anyway.
No, I get you.
Yeah.
I mean, with the assistance of the piano there, that I was literally just transported back 2 years ago.
What a cheat!
Use what you got.
And also I think it's a very fair ending. I was worried that sort of this would be a winner either way, but I think that not being able to tell the difference. Well, not tell the difference. I can very clearly tell the difference between you two.
I've got blonde hair.
Yeah, I know.
Being able to divide between the two of you just wouldn't be fair. And so it might be a cop out. It might not be the result that everybody was wanting or expecting. I'm still emotional. I'm recovering from that. From those chords, man. But I'm going to award that final point to Tim Jasper, which makes this whole affair
Thanks so much.
Pointless.
I love it.
Back where we started.
No, we've found that our two NESST juggernauts are evenly matched in every way, and the only question marks would be the procedure with which we've come to that conclusion. I'm not entirely sure that this was all a good idea, but there you go. Hopefully, it's been an entertaining half an hour or so. But thank you all very much.
Thank you, David.
Lovely
thank
audience.
You for having me.
And to the audience, thank you very much for joining us for episode 2 of the Little Light Podcast. We will see you next week for more.